Undersecretary. Thank you. Happy birthday. I just want to follow up on Senator Bozeman's first questions about the work and remote work, and I'm a strong believer that people need to get back to the office. And I know that based on having an agricultural state that many of your employees are probably going around to other areas, but I wasn't quite listening. Took an interest when he asked that question. Could you go over what the percentages are for people back?
In state and area offices, they are not eligible to remote work, so they can telework, but they have to be in the office as part of that telework agreement. And they also have to be out in the community. And that's something that we monitor very carefully to make sure they're doing that outreach as well.
Right, and that was like that before the pandemic?
So we have refined our teleworking agreement, but not necessarily in response to the pandemic, just recognizing that the other thing we have to do is balance a workforce that is 47% eligible to retire. So how do we keep that institutional knowledge in states and area offices by providing the flexibility that we can while still providing high level of service?
Okay, thank you. And I'll ask Secretary Vilsack about the rest of the workforce, but it's... Okay, let's get going on some other substantive issues. It's clear that biofuels and bio-based products are key pathways toward decarbonizing our economy while lowering gas prices, driving up economic growth, creating rural jobs. Senator Ernst and I have worked together on the Renewable Fuel Infrastructure Investment and Market Expansion Act for biofuel infrastructure grants that was recently passed into law. We're excited about that. Undersecretary, how can investments in biofuel infrastructure help farmers and rural communities? And can you just give a brief update on the implementation of these programs?
Thank you so much for your interest in biofuels, and I'm eager to support that. I was actually in your state, in Minnesota, talking with someone who, I was talking to him as the mayor, but he was also a farmer, and he was also a banker. And he talked about how being a farmer, the biofuels industry was crucial to him. Being a banker, he saw it as an opportunity to strengthen all economic development and investments in his community. And then being a mayor, it added to his bottom line and tax base because there was recently a biorefinery that located near him. His daughter is going to be staying in their small town because she got a great job at that biorefinery. That's an example of the type of opportunity that exists when you expand more and better markets.
Sure.
So when we talk about the opportunities here, of course, we're very excited about IRA and the expansion of HBIP. We make sure that we have advanced biofuels, the ability to distribute higher blends biofuels all across the country in the places sometimes rural that don't have that type of infrastructure to distribute it and get it in your car. In addition, we're excited about increased investments in biopreferred products because we know that part of building a bio-based economy is limiting the waste and turning that waste into another product, whether it's chemicals or advanced biofuels or foam for car seats.
Okay, very good. As co-chair of the Senate Broadband Caucus, I've focused on connecting rural areas, as you're well aware, with the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We put many resources into broadband. Can you talk about the additional resources for broadband programs at USDA, and what recommendations do you have for Congress as we go forward with this farm bill, with anything more we should be doing on broadband? I know a portion of this money, of course, goes through the USDA.
Absolutely. So USDA has $2 billion of the bipartisan infrastructure law. A point of pride for me is that USDA Rural Development was the first entity to actually award funds for high-speed internet infrastructure. So there are projects that are running now through the bipartisan infrastructure law that will be providing fiber to homes. Part of the reason why there is that success is because we have incredible field-based staff or general field representatives who are working in community to help develop proposals. And frankly, the decision to make sure that the current investments in high-speed internet are both grant and loan, to be able to make sure that we're funding projects and stretching funds as far as possible to reach the hardest to reach places. We're also investing through things like distance learning and telemedicine to making sure that once communities have high-speed internet, they also have the tools to use it well for...
You know, one thing I'd also add to that, and we've done work on this committee, is precision agriculture. And Senator Wicker and I have been working on this. How can that is part of this as well. As you know, more and more our farmers are using and will use even more advanced equipment, and it helps with everything from droughts on and water conservation and other access. Could you talk about how important that is and why we need broadband for that?
And I'm going to ask you just to be brief to keep us on schedule this morning, but important question.
We were 100 up, 100 down, and I had a farmer in Virginia thank us for that build-out speed because the upload for precision agriculture is crucial. So as we invest in precision ag, making sure that the build-out speed is high enough to support it is fundamental to survival for our farmers.
Thank you. I'll ask questions on the record on rural electric co-ops and other good topics, so thank you.
Great. Thanks very much. Senator Hoeven.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Good to see you, Secretary Torres Small. Thank